Liquor stores. Purpose of this video is to show why Square POS is not a good solution for a liquor store. Easiest way to show that is to actually dive into Square and compare it against a liquor store specific system like the cloud retailer liquor store profit system. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly, but we'll just hit on probably about 5 things that really stand out. So first thing we want to look at is our items. So we've got our items set up here in Square, and let's look at this Rosé Spirits. And yes, Square is a bit slow. So as we look at the item properties, we can see we can add it as can be age restricted. We do have 2 levels of categories. And then we have our cost. You'll notice there's one price. We can set minimum stock levels for how much we want to keep on hand. Modifiers, that's more for the restaurant or food service type environment. And that's about it. It's pretty basic. So you're asking, well, what's missing in my liquor store? So let's pull up a similar item in Cloud Retailer. Look for that Sutter. Bring that up. And first thing you're going to notice as the screen populates here is we've got a lot more options, and they're laid out better than what Square offers. We've got departments categories. We also add a subcategory. We have notes for the item. We can have alternate lookup codes or aliases. We've got a lot more information on the product as far as the retail price, and then we've got A, B, and C pricing, which is really helpful if you are doing any sort of loyalty. You can set up different pricing, or maybe you're doing wholesale if your state allows that. In addition, Cloud Retailer has persistent customer discounting. Again, really useful for wholesale, where you can do like a cost plus. Square did have the minimum quantity to keep on hand. Square did not have low or floor pricing, or as well as high pricing. There's no option for discount blocking in Square, and there's no real information as far as like your average cost and things like that. And Square was lacking the KPI data, which has things like your on hand, your price, less cost, average cost, and your sales trending information. All that is missing from Square. Again, here's the Square screen. You can see there's not a lot of options here that liquor stores really need to be competitive in today's market. Okay, so that's our first one, items. Now let's take a look at discounting options. So we go to discounts, and we'll create a discount. And we'll just make this a sample discount. And you can see we just have 4 options here. So amount, percent, variable. We'll just do a percent and say it's 5%. We've got some options as far as which department or category, if there's a quantity, customer group. Let's just make this a quantity. We can set a schedule as far as a date range as well as time. We can have a minimum spend, and we've got some options for the minimum value to qualify for the discount. Under our advanced settings, we've just got some things as far as taxes and things like that. So not horrible, definitely some options there, but again, liquor stores just, there's so much competitiveness going on, especially if you're in an area where there's like a Total or a chain or maybe the local supermarket grocery store, etc., can sell beer, wine, or spirits. You need a little more competitive advantage. And one great way of doing that is to set up a discounting program. We can do that in Cloud Retailer by doing a custom discount. And hopefully I am not boring, but you will see if we go to create a custom discount, we have quite a few more options. So again, we'll just name it sample discount, and we can filter in the products. You can see there's a lot more options as far as how you select what products or how you're going to filter what qualifies for this discount. Like Square, we can do a start and end date, which days, which times, but you notice there's quite a few more options here when it comes to what type of discount or promotion or sale you're going to run than what Square offers. So again, and we can just do a percent off just to play fair, and we'll also do a 5%. Here we've got a few more options as far as the quantity. That quantity is based on units or size. It has to be the same items. Prevent double dipping. Can it be blocked from being discounted? It can only be done once. What's this 5% based on? That's not something that Square doesn't offer. So you've got a lot more flexibility to maintain that competitiveness. Again, that is so needed in managing and growing a profitable, independently owned beer, wine, or liquor store. All right, so that is sales and discounts. Now let's take a look at reports. So let's go back to home and then reports. Again, here we're looking at Square. And basically we have some standard reports. So here's an example of a report in Square, the aging inventory report. So basically we've got one product, we've got some information here about the aging of the product, and then we have an option to edit the view based on some options, and this must be to download the report. So this is fairly basic when it comes to what is shown on the reports. And again, they're annoyingly slow, considering there's only 4 products and 1 customer in this Square database. It's taking, and no sales, it should not be taking this long as I talk slow to run this gross sales report. There it popped up. So, all right, let's compare that to Cloud Retailer again, just to show you some of the things that really stand out. And since we were doing inventory, let's go ahead and do a target margin report. This is a good one to show, and you can see how much quicker, even with all the data in Cloud Retailer, all this filtering, all these products, how much quickly, or how quicker the report ran in Cloud Retailer. And this is an example of a very cool report which kind of tells liquor store owners what products are maybe not hitting the target margin and what you should change the retail price to hit your target margins. So this is something you are not going to get in Square, and this is a critical report for maximizing those profits in a liquor store. All right, so that was a look at the reports. We've just got a couple other quick things to address. One is ordering. So let's go back to Square, go to Home, wait for it to load. Note I'm not editing out any of this stuff. And then we go to our items, I believe it is, and then inventory management, and then purchase orders. And we'll create a purchase order. What you're going to notice here is you're entering everything by hand. Selecting our vendor, selecting our location, and then we're adding our products. And what we're ordering. Notice there's no case individual item breakdown. You can't order a case of vodka even though you're selling it individually. You can in Square import the purchase order and adjust cost, but again, you're doing everything manually. There's no fintech, no supplier integration, so you're doing all your purchase orders basically by hand. There's no option like in if we hop over to Cloud Retailer, and let me close this and go to our tools. There's several things missing in Square that liquor stores need. So one, Cloud Retailer is supplier purchase planning. Basically, that is an AI tool to help you create purchase orders based on product movement. Now, I'll be fair to Square. Square, you can set minimum stock levels, but that's about it. Here in Cloud Retailer, we can select our different suppliers, locations, and then we can have it calculate our orders based on product sales data. That's kind of the AI aspect of it. The key thing here is when that rep comes in to your store from Southern or whomever and starts working up a purchase order of what they think you need, you can actually hand them or transmit to them an order based on what Cloud Retailer says you should be ordering. Also missing from Square is the ability to bring in those supplier orders automatically into the system. So basically, when that rep from Southern or whomever is creating their order on their iPad, it will transmit that order overnight into Cloud Retailer. And so basically, you come in, the order is ready, and then you just have to put it in receiving mode and bring it in, which is extreme. I can't believe how many people are still handwriting or recreating purchase orders in their POS system in liquor stores. That is just a huge, huge amount of time that is spent each week when it could just be automatically in your system. And Cloud Retailer is smart enough to check for quantity, cost, things like that. And of course, you still have the human intervention. And here is the example of how Cloud Retailer can handle cases versus individual units and automatically do that. You'll also notice I didn't cover it earlier, but with Square there aren't these options for like emailing a PO or uploading it, exporting it as a PDF, things like that. Unless I missed it, let's just double check, make sure I'm not misspeaking on anything. We'll create it. Okay, you can save it as a PDF or a spreadsheet, and then you can email it, but that's about it. There's no automation here. This is all a manual process. So, well, again, where Square seems like a great option, it is just too basic, too slow, and wow, the amount of labor hours using Square in a liquor store would just be incredibly cumbersome and expensive. Maybe that's a better word. Be very expensive. All right, last thing we want to cover, which may or not be easy to show, but basically it's the state-specific taxes and state-specific reporting. I could not find anyone in anyone anywhere in Square where you can set up like the states that have the volume tax, or you need to collect a bottle deposit, or if you're doing wholesale, you need to send in a specific wholesale report. That none of that appeared in Square. Basically, here's an example of how you set up the taxes in Square. It's a fairly straightforward, simple, where you're just setting up the description, the tax rate, and which location it applies to, and if it's where taxes is on top of the product or if it's an inclusive tax. Now, if we go into Cloud Retailer and go into our sales taxes, again, this may not show up quite as well, but we do have all these various ways you can set up different tax jurisdictions based on things like where maybe you've got a different tax rates where you have retail versus wholesale. That is one thing that I could not find in Square. All right, so since this is probably getting a little boring for everybody, you can definitely see overall that Square is a good iPad or cash register on a tablet POS solution. But for liquor stores, say doing 500,000 or more in annual gross sales, yeah, the amount of time you're going to spend with the ordering and the manual processes and not having some of those tools that liquor store POS systems like Cloud Retailer offer to maximize your profits, it's just not going to help you grow. You're going to be spending so much time with doing everything manually. But if you are a small beer, wine, or liquor store, maybe doing 200, 300, 400,000 a year, then Square is probably what fits within your budget. Monthly cost, hardware, you're probably looking at about 3,000 upfront for the hardware, and then your monthlies, depending on various options in Square, 80 to 150 a month. So still not cheap compared to a cash register, but definitely one step above a cash register. All right, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. We'll put the contact information in the video description. Thanks for watching.